It's just gone lunchtime. This is the third and final hour of All Angles here on ENCA. Good afternoon, I'm Manqoba. So it is that time of the day when we give you an update on how far many of the stories we've been following for you throughout the course of the day have advanced. Here's your lunchtime update. Right, we've got our team of reporters on the ground tracking developments in our leading stories. In today's edition of Lunchtime, we have Pule Letshwiti-Jones in Johannesburg and Heidi Giokos also in Johannesburg. All right, let's start with Heidi, who has been covering the story around a man who is probably going to be convicted of being charged with about 700 counts of rape, murder, sexual assault and sex trafficking. That is Gerard Ackerman. He was supposed to receive judgment in the High Court in Johannesburg today. Heidi, what happened?
Yes, so judgment was postponed, Masego, to Monday, and the reason for this is because the judge has basically lost his voice. He's not well, and he has postponed that judgment for Monday. He's actually set it down for 2 days because of the length of this particular judgment that is expected to be handed down. For context purposes, who's Gerard Ackerman? He's been charged over 700 times with human trafficking, sexual assault, grooming young boys, distributing child pornography and a number of other crimes as well. It's a very disturbing story because the youngest being about 11 years old that Gerard Ackerman is alleged to have groomed and sexually assaulted. He claims that he had a massage parlor and he brought these young boys in just to massage them, and he sees absolutely nothing wrong with doing this. But we do know that at the end of these supposed massages, there were sexual acts that took place. And as I mentioned, you're dealing with very young boys. We got a chance to speak to him in court today, just before we heard from the judge and that postponement. And he claims that he's innocent. He says these young boys knew exactly what they were getting themselves into. I'm not sure how an 11-year-old knows anything about sexual affairs at that age. And as an adult, one should be in a position to guide them. But that was not the case for Gerard Ackerman. And this is why he's facing over 700 charges. We do know that the young boys obviously presented evidence and gave evidence in camera because of the sensitivity of this particular matter. But it's quite shocking to see, Masego, the demeanor and, no care from Gerard Ackerman. Let's listen to what he told us.
What if it was your son, if I was your son, would you like me to go to prison? I didn't do anything wrong.
You didn't do anything
No.
wrong?
What did I do wrong? Tell me. Tell me. Tell me.
Do you believe you did nothing wrong?
Yes. What did I do wrong? Tell me. You can't tell me.
And if the court finds you guilty?
Then I want another court. Because this judge is, let me rather not say.
Right, let's go to Pule Letshwiti-Jones. Pule, Thabo Bester's prison break saga has raised alarms over the use of private prisons in the country. What is the Police and Prisons Union pop crew saying about this?
Well, the drama continues, Masego, and this time around, of course, police union pop crew saying that government shall cut all ties with private securities were contracted to some of these correctional facilities, particularly Manqoba as well, slamming a G-Force for not playing a proper oversight role and not being transparent, but alongside also saying that the Department of Correctional Services should be held to account. In fact, they will be meeting officials from DCS just in a few days to come. But what we also understand now is that pop crew has called for the termination or the cancellation of the contract G-Force has with Manqoba correctional facilities as well. And this is likely to be the topic that will be had when that meeting takes place between pop crew and, of course, officials from the Department of Correctional Services. They believe that there should be accountability here and that there was role players who were involved in the escape of serial rapist Thabo Bester. So pop crew has been on a rampage for quite some time, saying that prisoner facilities should be under the watch of a government, but they're not certainly providing an alternative to this as to what will be the plan thereof once private companies are not contracted or don't have contracts linked to some of these correctional facilities. But I want us to take a listen to what the president of POPCRU had to say earlier on regarding this whole matter.
This facility is a facility that works and that has the same responsibility as correctional services. Look after prisoners and rehabilitate prisoners. And the strict rules of looking after prisoners is not adhered to in that prison. Members told us that these people you don't call them prisoners, you call them clients. And how do they become clients yet they are what to call? How do you have a client that is in incarceration? So that is how all those things that we found out about them.
All right, that was your ENCA lunchtime update from all angles with our reporters Pule Letshwiti-Jones and Heidi Giokos. Thank you very much, team.